Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dude's Brunch, your late night morning talk show. I'm your host, Taylor Olmstead, and with me this week to throw some shade and eat some sausages, it's Tyler Reed. Tyler, what'd you have for brunch today?
Oh, goodness. I went back to Pleasantry. It's a little place in OTR. Had some pound cake, some strawberry pound cake, and I also had a bowl with jowl bacon, egg, jalapeno, and some potatoes. Perfect as always.
Sounds delicious. Sean Evans is here. Sean, what'd you have for brunch today?
Well, for my breakfast, I had 2 scones, and then I accidentally ate brunch today because Sarah's out of town, and I haven't had time to go to the grocery store. Yeah, that's the right one. That's the right way to say that. So I made toast and then put an egg on it and ate that for lunch at like 1 o'clock. So I guess technically today I ate brunch, kind of.
Solid.
Proud of you.
Making his triumphant return to Dude's Brunch, it's Ben Pentecost. Ben, what'd you have for brunch today?
I had 3 cups of coffee this morning, and a nice hearty helping of calamine lotion.
That sounds
for the
like
intestines.
Yeah, it sounds super nutritious there, bud.
It is. It's for those of you that can't see, which is all of you. I have poison ivy on my face, so.
Hey, what up?
Delicious and naturey. Well, for brunch this morning, I had some coffee and a smoothie because I'm back on that smoothie game. Strawberries and bananas this week, Tyler.
Fuck yeah, Taylor.
Strawberries and bananas. Yeah, I realize that Sean is not supportive of my smoothie game, but he can get over it.
I held my tongue the whole time until you brought me into this conversation, and yeah, screw your berry shakes. I wasn't even gonna say anything about it, but you know what?
Oh no, Mad Dad's here. He's ready to.
Well, let's maybe calm him down with some follow-up here.
Hold on, please. Hold on. I was doing some Twitter research. It was a very funny joke that I was preparing. But so strawberry banana smoothie. What else did you put in it? Did you put peanut butter in that one?
No, I did not.
What else did you put in it?
Oats, yogurt, and milk.
Oh my god, what are you, a goat?
I gotta put more vegetables in mine because I just don't get that daily dosage, you know? I'm like, I don't need more fruit. Fruit's great, I got that.
I don't either, but I also just don't care. So, screw you, Mom. I'm not gonna eat my vegetables.
That's what I like to hear. You want me back with that one.
Kale and carrots.
All right, so let's dive into some follow-up. Copyright 2007, John Siracusa. First things first, Tyler, you found some Chance the Rapper follow-up. Look at you.
I mean, oh yeah, that's right. We did say at one point in some episode of this podcast that No Problem was going to be a song of summer. So yeah. I guess that's the only reason why it's even conceivably follow-up, right?
Yes, that is right.
I don't know. I was on the internet and I found an 8-bit tribute to Chance the Rapper's No Problem. And it's very good. And my biting commentary was that I'm going to make it my ringtone on my phone because it's 2005.
I mean, I would make this the ringtone on my 2017 phone. Because, you know, sometimes you just don't want No Problem.
For the record, this song totally has 8-bit remake in it. Yeah. Oh, Chance, you're such a good rapper.
Is he? Is he actually a good rapper?
He's an insanely good rapper.
Yeah.
I would hope so, considering that's his name.
Yeah, no. Thank God he's not Knowledge, the bad rapper. That would be terrible. I like Certainty, the bad rap.
Although, Tyler brings up a good point, though. I'm sure Ben remembers this. A couple years ago, Chance the Rapper was featured on a Childish Gambino song, except he didn't rap at all. He just played a guitar solo.
The what? I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's a song on Childish Gambino's Because the Internet featuring Chance the Rapper where all Chance does is play a guitar solo.
Why was I singled out to remember that?
Because you have that record on vinyl.
I do.
So none of us on this podcast actually remember anything that's happened 5 minutes before we started.
That's right. Go look at the liner notes, folks. We'll put a link in the show notes.
I've got explosive amnesia.
You know, that's better than explosive diarrhea. So, speaking of explosive diarrhea, Taste of Cincinnati that was this weekend.
Did you get any good food, Tyler?
I actually didn't go to it, but my boss sent me down on Friday to go hand out coupons, and I got down there, and there was no one there, because you know what? Taste of Cincinnati's not on Friday.
Did he tell you to go get elbow grease too and a left-handed screwdriver?
Yeah, and a pack of smokes, and I never came back.
Anyway, yeah, so I went to the Atlanta Jazz Festival on Friday, and that was pretty sweet. It was totally free, which is nifty. You know, not many free music festivals anymore. It was kind of cool.
I mean, I like jazz, but the general populace is like, pay me to see jazz, please.
You're just on here to start a fight with Seth Alexander, aren't you?
I love jazz. Everyone thinks I hate jazz, but I specifically listen to it on my phone all the time.
Specifically.
Yeah.
You realize I'm just going to recut this whole segment to make it sound like you hate jazz so that Seth tweets angry shit at you, right?
I hate jazz in my mouth.
Podcast kryptonite.
That's right.
What did he originally say that had those words? Alright, so I literally have no context for any of this, but apparently there's an artist called Lil Yachty.
You haven't heard of Lil Yachty? Oh my god.
Apparently it blows him like a cello. And so he made a public sort of like statement about this.
His apology? I saw that.
I thought a cello was a woodwind instrument, and it is not. Nobody ever said shit. Nobody ever pulled up a picture and said, hey man, I don't know if you know that this is, but it ain't that. I fucked up. I thought Squidward played the cello. He don't. That's a flute.
Oh, Lil Yachty.
He tried his best, and that's all we can give him credit for.
That's okay. That's fine with me. I'm not here to nitpick. Except if you're Taylor.
But it still sounds good, though. I'm like, you know what? It does sound pretty good. You're right.
Oh, yeah. Rick Mobile came to Arlington.
Did you go?
No. Actually, no. Because when I actually had the day off, and I thought, I'm going to go. But then when I got on the website, and it was like, the Rick Mobile will be making appearances, but not opening up or selling anything, just for photo ops. I was like, well, nope, not anymore. So, thanks for ruining my favorite TV show with your thing.
Corporate cash girl.
I wouldn't call it that. I don't know who runs this thing, but I really was kind of pissed about that, so I don't know. I'm just an internet podcaster. It means nothing. I'm just...
Hey, man. We run an influential podcast with a very small subset of people.
Yeah.
That Dude's Brunch bump.
Well, how would you describe that? Like, an ant going up against a space shuttle windshield in space or something? Or how would you...
Yes, exactly.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, my God. What if they were space ants? What if you were, like, in the space shuttle and you, like, got up one morning and you went to, like, whatever where you make your food in the space shuttle and there was, like, an ant on the counter? What would you do? Would you be like, seriously? In space?
That's how you get ants, Sean. Do you want ants?
Pay trillions of dollars to be in space, and there's a fucking ant. I just want to have a picnic in space.
Well, no. Then you're wondering like where the other ants at? Because there's probably not just one ant. Like there's probably like multiple ants now.
I'm sure they could survive in space, right?
Sure.
You know what would be adorable in space? Otters.
Space otters.
Space
Ooh.
otters.
I'm so down with space otters.
Oh my God, we need to be friends with Earth. Why? Because they sent us this whole basket full of space otters.
Welcome to the galaxy. Here's a basket full of otters.
Cincinnati news. Cincinnati Zoo news. Ripperoni to Nero the otter, who died, I think, about a year ago. They Zoo now has another otter for Sugar to play with. His name's Wesley, and he's very cute.
But for the record, he's a river otter, And
Right.
I mean, they're adorable, but they don't have beautiful beards.
Like sea otters.
And Team Fiota is still going strong. There's beer, playing cards, T-shirts. The merchandising is out of control.
I know you guys have Panda Madness like we did here in DC for Bow Bow.
That's
Well,
true.
I just need to get us away from the fucking Harambe memes. Jesus.
Which, by the way, as of the recording of this show, we are officially 1 year past the death of sweet innocent Harambe. Dicks out.
Jeez.
Man, it's been hard for you, hasn't it, Taylor?
It's been a tough year, Sean.
I mean, sorry, hard was the wrong word to go there. It's been a pretty meek and limp year for you, hasn't it?
Let's move on. In some other follow-up, Paramore has a new album out, and it's apparently good?
Apparently.
Debatable.
Good's a subjective term.
Well, I mean, Antoine Fantoine gave it a acceptable rating, so.
Yeah, he gave it a 7 out of 10.
Wasn't she the one that did Damn Cold Night?
Yeah, that's what that song's called. Mm-hmm. No, I'm curious. Has anybody listened to this? Because I haven't listened to it yet.
Yes.
No, but I was thinking about it.
Is it any good, Sean?
It's Paramore. It's more poppy Paramore.
Okay.
I miss rock and roll Paramore.
I don't really care that much then. In other music you could listen to but probably shouldn't news, the new At the Drive-In album is just fine.
Yeah, I agree. It's meh.
Ben, do you have some thoughts on the new Blink-182 album?
I'm bored.
Me too.
That's how I felt about it. I felt like I'd heard every single song on it before.
This has been a bunch of millennials are jaded about alternative rock music.
No. I can come up with some good albums that you should be listening to.
Anybody been listening to anything new or exciting?
Hell yeah.
What you got, Sean?
What do you wanna know? What genre do you wanna listen to?
What's like your rock record of the week?
Probably the new Orwells record. It's fantastic. It's got that nice, sweet indie sound, catchy guitar riffs, great vocals. So that's my rock one. If you're looking for some like indie stuff that's kind of like light and not so heavy.
So my cool music pick of the week is actually gonna go counter to your pick then. Kind of third wave emo pick from me this week. The band Swordfish, their new album Rodia. Really good, like heavy emotional gang vocals type of emo. Like not screamy, but just a lot of like really, intricate guitar lines and screamy, like loud gang vocal screaming choruses. It's a lot of fun if you're into that sort of thing. Tyler, any new music picks from you?
I would say that it's not necessarily a new music pick, but with the passing of Chris Cornell, I was like, let's try Audioslave back on for size, because I had originally enjoyed it like a decade ago. So I was like, let's see how this is aged. And I was like, some of it, when it's good, it's really good. And I feel like I can appreciate it more now than back then. Other than that, I've been listening to the playlist Neon Party on Spotify because I'm just a big piece of shit. It's just a lot of sort of it's not it's so hard to describe. It's sort of not necessarily dance music, but it's poppy, but it's not I don't know. It's I don't even know what the fuck it is.
We'll link to it in the show notes.
Yeah, there you go.
Sean's just jamming out over there.
Ben, what old tunes have you listened to lately?
Some old tunes. I've been getting down with some Wagner lately, actually. The Ring Cycle, which is an epic opera from the 1870s.
Not to be confused with the Cremaster cycle, which is a creative arts piece, multimedia, so don't.
I am actually aware of that piece. Yeah, definitely not to be confused with Wagner.
No, of course not. But I'm actually been studying that because I'm taking a class on it next semester about the whole, it's 4 different operas, and I'm going to San Francisco to see a production of all 4 at once.
Oh, nice.
Way to go. That sounds cool.
It's going to be lit.
Jesus.
Our main discussion this week is about Season 2 of Master of None, Aziz Ansari's semi-autobiographical dramedy sitcom Netflix show. It's kind of a hard show to classify. A little bit of background on the show. Basically, if you don't already know this, Aziz Ansari stars in the show. He co-created it with one of his friends who is also in it, and he writes and directs almost every episode. The episodes are usually based around some sort of theme. So, for example, there's an entire episode about religion, or an episode about his relationship with his parents, or there's one about old people, or one about dating. They're all like thematically organized, and then there's kind of a plot that ties them all together, but it's more based around like the themes of each episode. So season 2 came out a couple of weeks ago on Netflix, and it takes kind of the same theme-based model from season 1, but tackles some things in some new and interesting ways. There's a first dates episode in this season. There's an episode on Thanksgiving, which is kind of a discussion of like the evolution of the family. There's an episode called New York, I Love You, which really isn't about Aziz at all. It's just kind of about like life in New York. There's an episode about changes in your career and how they impact your personal life. There's a lot going on in here. So I wanted to get some first impressions from those of us that have watched it. What did you think of season 2 and of Master of None as a whole?
I mean, it definitely tackles the issues of our day. I mean, we're talking about like online dating and spirituality and things like that. And I think as a millennial, like we can relate to these struggles. I think that's what makes Master of None such a good thing. Like we talked about the themes in season 1, where it's like going through life and having to deal with your parents, blah blah blah. And this is kind of like that next step in the progression where you're like out on your own and you're trying to figure out these like your late 20s, early 30s, and you're like looking back and saying like, oh my god. Or like dumb shit just happens, like you lose your phone and like you can't talk to that girl again. Or maybe you're making artisan pasta. I don't know.
Yeah, the whole artisan pasta plot line was a little bit weird, I have to admit.
I was like, is he gonna 10 episodes in Italy, and is he gonna be speaking in subtitles? What is
I think it's pretty relatable. What 29, 30-year-old doesn't go to Italy to become a pasta maker?
Seriously though, Ben, what were your thoughts on the second season and on kind of the show as a whole?
With the second season specifically, I was kind of, I don't know, I couldn't get into the first half a little bit, just because it kind of seemed to be going in a bunch of different directions and I wasn't sure. And then they started to tie in like a main storyline at the end with the whole romantic triangle thing, or not really love triangle, but when they started to tie into that stuff, then I got more interested. I don't know. I liked how it was relatable because it's like loosely based on a real person, so it's about what regular people go through. Although I don't maintain an apartment in New York while I'm living in Italy for 4 months, but
he just Airbnb'd that shit out. It's fine.
Yeah.
At least that's what my headcanon says. Tyler, what did you think?
how deep of a dive should I be taking for this initial?
Just first impressions. First impression.
Okay. So I had to start all the way from the fucking beginning because I had never watched this show before. The first episode where he had to take care of kids, that episode sucked.
This is season 1, episode 1.
Yes, it was intolerable. But I will say that that was certainly not a high point. I think it definitely picked up from there. I would say that I have trouble kind of figuring out what the show wants to be. It's somewhere between like Louie and like the My Brother and Me like TV show, where it's like it's staged but it feels sort of like improv, but it's like not necessarily believable situations anyone's in. It's a little too perfect, so I'm like, it doesn't have like that natural grit like Louie does. So I'm confused. It kind of fits somewhere between those, and that's totally a little weird for me a lot of the time. But I will say that a lot of the episodes that are a little more overarching, that usually have like montages, or like the first date episode where it's a bunch of like jump cuts of different situations. I think episodes like that really stand out, and I think are really I feel like are the best episodes, rather than
the one where he goes to that wedding in Italy.
Yeah, I had some problems with that one. I think what you just said really sums up my thoughts on the second season, where I think they got a little too ambitious with some of the plot-driven episodes, like the one where they go to his Arnold's ex's wedding. I just want this show to be kind of like a theme of the week situation. Like, we're going to talk about dates this week. Next week, we're going to talk about, like, owning a pet or whatever the fuck. Like, it just, those episodes feel much more interesting to me, and like they can say more than just the, oh, isn't it funny, we're at my friend's ex's wedding and he's still in love with her and it's really awkward. Yeah, I wasn't super into that.
I'm like fucking just like, I just threw my katana down on the ground and I was just slowly just driving it into my chest. And I was like listening to him be like, you shouldn't be with him, you should come and let's run away together. I'm like, no, please don't let this be what things are saying right now.
So what were some standout episodes in the new season?
So for me, I watched, I had to kind of skip a few of the newer episodes because I was really, I thought I was under the impression that I'd really have to take a deep dive to understand the second season to get through the first, I know I need to watch the first season. Little did I know there was like a recap episode that's basically like, hey, there's like Rachel and she's like a girl and they both leave and that's about it. It's like, you can just skip the rest. I'm like, well, fuck, I could just watch the second season. But, I mean, the ones that you recommended, like the first dates and the Thanksgiving one, I think I agree are standout episodes. The Italy ones are just really strange, especially the thief. You're like, oh hey, I'm gonna check out this episode, Master of None, and it's just like all in black and white, and it's like this noir kind of vibe almost. And it's just like, what's going on? What is the show?
Yeah, I agree with Tyler. The Italy stuff was kind of, just the whole time I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Just like, the first episode confused the shit out of me. And then when Arnold showed up in Italy, and all of a sudden it's just like, hey man, I'm going to my ex of 11 years wedding. Oh, by the way, you don't know about her, but you're my best friend. Like, that was kind of strange to me. So that was weird. I like the religion one. I thought that was really relatable, that like a lot of people go through that kind of stuff. That was the thing that hooked me on the season, was that there was a lot of relatable shit in it. So I think the religion one was probably one that stuck out to me. I also like the Thanksgiving one too, though.
I think First Dates was the one that really jumped out to me, because that's something that I've been going through more recently, living in a new city and not knowing a lot of people. And so the whole like beginning portion of that episode where he's walking into the restaurant with the girl and they're having an awkward date conversation, and then in the middle of the conversation a waitress walks by, and as she's walking by it cuts to him on a date with a different girl in that same restaurant, and I'm like, oh, so this is his first date restaurant. And then the episode kind of structures around like he's taking 7 different girls to this restaurant and you're seeing little clips of each of their dates. And I'm like, yep, I have a couple of first date restaurants. Like, this is my real life. I also love the girl that he's seeing who like he's totally vibing with. And then at the end of the date, she's like, oh, I should introduce you to my boyfriend. And he's like, why are you even on this dating? Yeah. And he's like, why are you even on this dating app if you have a boyfriend? She's like, oh, you know, to meet new friends. Like, those girls exist and they're very confusing.
Experience here? Have you?
It's
happened.
happened
To you?
It's happened.
So they just wanted a free meal.
Basically, yeah.
So are you gonna go Dutch next time?
But yeah, I really liked that. I really liked that episode. I thought that was very well done.
Man, Taylor, you were like the most easily catfished dude ever.
So one of the things that everybody talks about when they talk about Master of None is Aziz's parents. Those are actually Aziz's parents playing Aziz's parents in the show. And I think in the first season, it was kind of cute and funny that like they're not very good actors, but they're his actual parents. During the religion episode this season, I just really could not believe his mom at all.
That was something I noticed. I was like uncomfortable listening to his mom try to act because it was just so bad. Like, it was like kitschy and awkward, but it was just like unbearably awkward.
Yeah, at least his dad is funny.
His dad's like a cartoon character. Like, it's just over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah. But his mom just cannot act, God bless her soul. I don't know why he gave her so many lines in that episode.
I don't know. Also, if anyone's familiar with his stand-up, how he has the jokes about Harris, his cousin. The guy who was playing his cousin in the religion episode was Harris.
Oh, so that's his real cousin?
That's actually, yeah, from his old stand-up routines.
That is kind of the interesting thing about this show, is the more you know about Aziz, the more you realize that, like, this is his life. I mean, elements of it aren't, right? Like, he doesn't host a TV show about cupcakes in real life.
What? That? Oh.
I'm sorry, Sean. Clash the Cupcakes isn't real.
That's gonna be my next punk rock band name right there.
Clash the Cupcakes.
Now, you would think that if he was going to include many real-life adaptations of people that he knows, like his parents, you would think that they would, like, structure the show in a way that would make it feel more organic, the way that everyone talks. But, like, in the show throughout, like, the entire time that I've watched it, it feels very scripted. Everyone's very clever. And you're like, no one talks like this. Not a single person in this world has a conversation where they just fucking, like, fire, like hundo, like rebuttals to conversations. It's usually much more awkward than that. I would know. I've had a podcast and we've done almost 100 episodes. No one talks like how they talk. So you would think they would try, like, I don't know, just something a little more natural. It feels like they're improvising all the time and they're just really good. Because, like, there's never, like, a pause. There's never, like a drop in anything. It's just, like, on it.
Yeah, the only times where I feel like I really believe the dialogue is when Aziz's character, Dev, is talking to Eric Warheim's character, Arnold. I feel like I really believe the two of them together because I know that in real life they're both comedians. And so it's probably just like that residual knowledge coming in. So when they have conversations where they're like writing a bit together, where they're like, oh, we're going to go get some tapas. Yeah, I love tapas. And they like start doing a whole routine about tapas. I'm like, this is what hanging out with comedians is actually like. All of the other characters in the show are not written as comedians. And so it's like when they start doing those quips, it does feel really awkward.
Like literally everything with Rachel in it, I'm like, no, why are these all jokes? Why do you have this repertoire where you just make these outrageous, like, statements all the time? I'm like, this is emotionally draining for me. She just drops a bomb. She's like, oh, I'm vegetarian. And that's, like, never come up. And then they go to fucking Nashville. But, like, they joke all the time. So he probably could have reasonably assumed that she was joking about it. And you're like, no, I really am. And he's like, oh, I don't understand what's going on.
So were there any episodes this season that you just really, other than the Italy ones, that just really didn't work for you guys?
I mean, it was besides the fact that episode 20 was clearly spent just setting up for season 3.
Yeah, that's true of this finale so much more than the season 1 finale. Because I feel like at the end of season 1, it's like a real breakup episode, and there's some real like emotional catharsis there. And this was just kind of like, well, I mean, we all knew what was going to happen here, and I guess we'll have to wait another year to figure out what happens next. Like, it felt like they ran out of steam.
Yeah, but like I said, I didn't get quite far enough as I wanted to in season 2, so I don't know if there's particularly one episode that really, of the 4 that I watched, that really was, like, unbearable, aside from the ones you specifically said not to talk about, so...
I had a little bit of trouble with episode 9, Amarsi Un Po, which is the really long one. It's like an hour long. I just think that it was trying to be a little bit too much, and it could have been a half hour long and been really tight. But because they stretched it out, it just felt really like drug out and too long.
I kind of felt like that. That one kind of sunk me. I don't know. I didn't like it, but it was like I felt the opposite. I felt like it was like too forced and like they were trying to just rush this romance that hadn't really been there too much all season.
There's another romance subplot.
Yeah, there's another romance subplot at the end of the season.
You didn't get tired of that being in every episode?
I feel like
Why do people fall in love?
I feel like that romance actually moved too slow in that episode. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well, Taylor, not everybody is so insistent on getting to third base on the first date.
It wasn't that. I just think like they showed like multiple individual dates for like 10 minutes each. And I'm like, this could have been a montage of dates. We didn't need to see each one of these dates that they went on. Economy of storytelling. So the last thing that I really want to talk about with this show is the way that it looks. I think especially in season 2, I don't know if it was because of the whole portion in Italy or what, but I was just struck by how fashionable this show is. Like, none of the characters are ever dressed even remotely badly. Like, even when Dev is in sweatpants and a t-shirt, it's the most stylish sweatpants and t-shirt you have ever seen. It's just such a good-looking show that even when the dialogue is bad, I'm like, well, at least it's pretty. And I was curious if anybody else had that experience watching this season.
That never crossed my mind, but now that you say it, they were all very good looking.
Right? Like, when Arnold shows up in Italy wearing an all-white suit, and you're like, who gets off the plane in an all-white suit? Literally
notice,
no
like,
one.
Someone's like that's gonna steal your girl. That's who. So to reiterate, no, I didn't notice. I mean, I was like, man, everyone sure is looking fly here. Like, I mean, I guess these are good outfits. I mean, to be fair, if you're trying to be like a 20, 30 something in a very popular part of the country and you don't look fly as hell, I mean, I don't understand why you're even there.
Well, and it's also part of, like, Dev's character, too, because he is, like, on a TV show and has to dress well. But I think even characters that, like, don't need to are impeccably dressed throughout the show, and they're always going to, like, stylish restaurants and eating really good-looking food. The show makes me extremely hungry for a show that's not ostensibly about food.
They do eat a lot.
And they it is his job, but they do make a lot of jokes about that too.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for pointing that out.
I don't know what you guys expected there. That's like half the plot of the show is he's a host of a food show on a food network.
The whole show starts with him in Italy making artisan pasta.
And
he wants to be on a show called BFF.
Best Food Friends.
Yes, exactly. It's like if Anthony Bourdain was friendly.
Yeah, that is kind of the gimmick, actually. Final thoughts. Is Dev a likable character? And will you watch more of Master of None?
Okay. I have mixed feelings about Dev as a character because when he's trying to be this like romantic, chivalrous dude, he kind of turns into a manipulative douche that I didn't really like. But I like the funny parts when he was like with his guy friends.
I think the most damning part is that he really likes to say 3 things about a topic, and then there's a brief pause, and then he does a really cheesy smile and holds it for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, I'm gonna go die. I'm gonna go throw my TV out a window because it happens so many times. I'm like, please stop.
That's the formula, man.
No more. You're not allowed to do that. Just talk like a normal person.
So Dev is not a likable character for you.
I mean, it's more of the acting, but I mean, even still. I mean, I'm gonna be hard pressed to watch more, but because there's some parts that I like. I like the artistic quality of some episodes. It's like almost there for me.
Yes, I think Dev's character is redeemable. I mean, he doesn't always do everything right, but he's not Walter White, which Sarah and I have had long conversations about characters that we just both are like, oh my god, this is just a terrible person, like, done and done. And, like, yeah, he makes mistakes and stuff, and yeah, he's kind of corny, but I think all in all, if you liked him all the way, you wouldn't like him. You know what I mean? Like, if he was, like, nice to everybody and he didn't do anything wrong, the show would be completely like, you wouldn't even get it at all. It'd be unrelatable. So, I mean, from what I remember of the show, that was what I liked about him.
I like Dev. I think this season really tested my patience with Dev. And this season was so much more of him than the other characters that if you had any sort of problems with him, they really got amplified. Like, we didn't get a whole lot of any of his friends except for Arnold in this season, and his friends were the best part of season 1. So I'm optimistic for the show. I think they're going to learn from this whole Italy thing and not go in that direction next year. And if they do, I don't know. I may give up. We'll see what happens. The last half of the season was good, at least. So this week in internet garbage, somebody once bought a fidget spinner and ran it through GarageBand and made a fidget spinner cover of Smash Mouth's All-Star. Which I think raises the question, are fidget spinners a dead meme?
Yes.
Great.
Pack it up, guys. We're done.
There you have it.
Now, so let's talk about this. Does anybody want to give some context on what fidget spinners are and what the hell is going on?
You are the worst storyteller ever. So basically, how this whole topic got started was Sarah, my girlfriend, is a teacher, and her kids have just started bringing these fidget spinners every day to school, and they just cannot stop from like using these things because, like, of course, I don't know if these were a tool to like kind of help people like get through their day. They have to fidget all the time, and I know this because like anybody who's ever seen this show live, if you've watched me, like I have this little like rubber version of the Capitol Dome. I'm like playing with it. I'm like flicking off the camera with like a wine topper on top of my middle finger. Like, I just cannot stop moving when I make this show. So like I get the need for a fidget spinner. But I was asking her, like, because you guys remember when we were kids and like you don't deal in currency, you deal in like bargaining and like trades and stuff like that. So you're like, oh yeah, I'll give you like a bag of potato chips for your flubber, Jimmy, and like that's how you do things. And I was asking her, I was like, what would I have to like trade one of your kids to get a fidget spinner? Because I don't want to buy one with money. Like, I think that's kind of the wrong way to get a fidget spinner. Like, you got to do it like how the actual users of fidget spinners would get them, and that's like begging somebody or like trading somebody on the playground or something. And that made me wonder what the OG fidget spinner was, which started this whole conversation on Twitter, which got me another couple bot followers on Twitter. Thanks. But yeah, so, and then Taylor just ruined it by taking it down the All-Star route with his fidget spinners.
Well, I think it's important context to know that fidget spinners are not... Fidget spinners have, like, flown too close to the sun, burned out, and died as a meme. You know, they lived as they died as they lived, very fast and in a small circle.
I think the person that invented the fidget spinner was probably somebody who was really entrepreneurial, because they're like, now that kids aren't in skateboarding and I'm sitting on all these skateboard bindings for the past, like, I don't know, 20 years, what do I do with these? And someone's like, why don't you make like a super skateboard binding with 3 wheels and then you can spin it all the time?
I mean, that is basically what this is. That was kind of my first thought when I saw one.
Tyler, you don't seem amused by this. Have you ever played with a fidget spinner?
I have, actually. Someone at work had one, and I was like, this is nice. I kind of had trouble giving it back. I was like, this thing, it's just so magical, you know?
Fidget spinner seems like a real Tyler Reed kind of object.
It does.
Maybe if there was, like, also blades on it, that would be...
Oh, my God. We had to go down this Game of Thrones route immediately.
It's only a matter of time.
Actually, I think I like the fidget cube a little bit better, if we're being honest. I like a lot of the tactility of them, but I also see the appeal of the spinner.
Ben, do you have a fidget spinner?
I don't. I've been looking at them, though. I'm not, like, seriously looking at them to buy one. I was curious the other day, and I started doing all this research.
What's the most expensive fidget spinner you can buy? What is it, and why is it expensive? Someone look this up. Is there like a 24 karat gold one out there yet that's like precision bearings or something crazy?
To the Googler.
I think most of them are like, it's like a $5 Walmart toy kind of thing.
$5?
Yeah.
Please.
$5? You better get like 10 of them for $5.
No, man, I've seen them for like $10, $12 even too.
What?
I would not pay $10 for a fidget spinner.
When I was at the Atlanta Jazz Festival this weekend, there was like a little booth selling them for $10 a piece.
Did it have like, has this been a thing yet where people have been starting to like logo them out?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Can you go online and order like...
I'm looking at one right now that is $777.
What's it made of?
It says Triangle Rainbow Fidget Spinner Titanium Alloy Tri-Bar Toy Professional EDC Stress Release. This has got like all the stops for this fidget spinner.
The Phantom MK2 Premium Fully CNC machined and hand assembled fidget spinner for $49.95.
See, that's what I mean. I think we've gone past the point of no return with fidget spinners. They have flown too close to the sun and they are now a dead meme.
So last question before we move on from this topic. Going around in the circle here, what does your spirit animal fidget spinner look like?
Jesus.
Clearly, Tyler's has blades.
What the fuck kind of question is that?
What the fuck kind of question is what? What would your ideal fidget spinner look like, Taylor? Like, you don't imagine this kind of stuff on a regular basis. I forgot that your life is so full of activities that you don't have any downtime to think about. What would the most amazing fidget spinner look like?
Well, there's a difference between what would the coolest fidget spinner be and what is your spirit animal fidget spinner, because then
That's
I'm like,
what I mean.
wait,
That is
what?
above the regular, like, what would the coolest one be? What is your spirit animal fidget spinner? That's, like, beyond the cool of, like, it doesn't matter what other people think because, like, it's my spirit animal. So, like, whatever, the hermit crab is the coolest fucking animal ever, and I relate that it can crawl inside of its home. Just remember, remember, hermit crabs are the original backpackers, okay? Just for the record, like...
This is going some weird places
This is
tonight.
like into the woods type shit.
Sean's getting real weird.
Sean's ready to go.
So, I've actually found mine.
Okay, what is it? Of course you would find yours that's already made because you're unoriginal and a plebes, but go ahead.
Well, I didn't know what I wanted because I have never played with one of these, but I found this on Amazon and I think it's perfect. It's a fidget spinner, but it's made up of 5 independent gears that you can also spin. So you can spin the fidget spinner as a whole, or you can spin the gears, and I think that's super cool.
I posted a picture of the OG fidget spinner right there.
It's a rotary phone.
Now hold on. We're all here for goofs. We had a lot of fun today, but I feel like we need to just pack it up and go home, everyone, because I think I found them.
Please describe this. Please describe your fidget spinner.
So first, I posted a funny picture of a rotary dial phone, which I'm sure many of our listeners have no idea what the fuck that even is. Then it was accompanied by a shuriken fidget spinner, which then was followed up by a revolver chamber fidget spinner, and then of course, you know, our favorite fidget spinner of them all is just a gun, you know.
Oh my god. You're disgusting.
I looked, see if you can tell, like all of these images have the same background to it, and I did a Google search for them, and I found them all in the same search. I was like, wait, what's going on here?
I really think that you're getting your fidget spinner confused with Russian roulette, and I don't know if that's like.
All right, I'm actually looking at one on Amazon right now. It's a LED light up fidget spinner. It's like the old school Skechers, and you can buy a pack of 1,000 for $5,600.
That's not even a good deal.
I mean, that seems like you buying in bulk, and also they light up.
Well, what if I lose them?
That's a good point. Ben does lose thousands of things, literally so many times that you would need to have 1,000 of these?
You really
you
do
get
this
a
to me
1,000
right now.
pack for $5,653. It's free shipping though.
Well, that's good.
All right, Sean, what's your OG fidget spinner?
I actually have it. I'm gonna go get it for you right now.
Oh no. Listeners, Sean is getting up from his desk and walking across his apartment. This can't be good.
So I was actually thinking that I honestly actually have the OG fidget spinner, and it's OB. Hold on, let me turn on the lamp so you guys can see it. But this is it. So it's this cable thing, and then on it is a little piece of wood, and there's a little screwed on little wheel here that you can spin. There's a little knobby here, that you can like spin. There's like this cool bottle cap thing and a washer and like this little keychain thing, and it's like OG Fidget Spinner right here.
Can you take a photo of that and like post it on Instagram or something so that we can share it in the show notes?
Of course I can.
That's actually really cool.
I actually got it last week when we were at the Smithsonian Art Museum with my family, and it was in a old cigarette machine that was converted into it's called Artorama. You should check them out. It's really cool. And you like put in $1 and you like push it in the machine and it like spits out little art pieces that people have made, and it's like really cool. And mine was like what was it called? It's like an original keychain. The person that makes them is like a woodcrafter in Hilliard, which is just outside of Columbus on the west side. And like I didn't realize that I had like an OG.
That looks like one of those things, like antiquated baby toys, like when they'd throw like tiny saws into a baby's crib for them to play with.
Just like a bundle of nails.
That's what it looks like. It's like when I see this thing, that's my initial thought. It's like, this is what like people in the 1800s would give a child.
Oh, okay. So this is actually called a Brute Art keychain, and it's like made of scraps of stuff. But it was like originally this art movement that was like studied in the early 20s of people that were mentally ill in Swiss asylums, and they would just put stuff together, like little scraps that they found, and like it just like people just loved them, like they thought it was really cool. So yeah, but definitely check out the Artomat thing. I don't know how I'm gonna end up plugging this because we're talking about fidget spinners, but like it's pretty cool.
Alright, and now it's time to round the show out like we always do with a round of shameless plugs. And of course, we always gotta start with my good buddy, Tyler Reed. Tyler, what you got for us?
Hey, sweet cheeks. You can find my design work at tylerdreed.com, and you can find me on the socials as TDR Design on Instagram and Twitter.
My fidgety friend, Sean Evans, what do you have to plug?
You can find me on Twitter at Evans8910, that's Sevens8910, and on Instagram at the same thing.
And if people want to console you on your Poison Ivy, Ben Pentecost, where can they do that?
I can be reached on everything at Pentecost.
It's like your last name, but with a B in front of it.
It's like my last name, but with my first name in front of it.
That's right. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat as TC Olmstead, and you can follow and like the show on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe to our subreddit. We are reddit.com/r/dudesbrunch. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we will see you in 2 weeks for the 100th episode of Dudes Brunch.
Taylor, do you ever feel really self-conscious you have, like, a voice that is, like, the face of the Goonies monster? Tyler, come back. You can blame it all on me.
I become so dumb I you there. I'm back. Welcome, everyone.
Did you go to the bathroom?
I did.
What kind of intro is that?
It's the fuck you kind.
Someone's saucy tonight. Bring home your meatballs, kids.
Are we just gonna make like really shitty like pork-based product puns for like another 5 minutes? Is that what we're gonna do here?